Coming up next on Small Town Big Deal, we're on a coast-to-coast holly jolly journey, made even jollier thanks to Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff, thank you so
Merry
much.
Christmas!
And see how ornaments that shine around the world are also special thank you gifts in North Carolina.
This is beautiful. Welcome to Small Town Big Deal. I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl. Up first, unavoidable laughter as we talk to Jeff Foxworthy about his Christmas memories.
You know, that guy inspires us all to look at the fun side of life. Jeff, tell us a little bit how you got started. I mean, you didn't just become a comedian overnight.
No. You know what? I was a funny kid. And so I would save my allowance. I would buy comedy records and I would memorize them. And then I would go to school and do them. So like every report card my parents ever got is like, Jeff's trying to make everybody laugh. Jeff's trying. But I never thought it was an available career option. I just thought, got it picked out 8 comics and they were out there and you had to go to work. And so I worked at IBM for 5 years. And I was the guy at work that was doing impressions of the boss in the break room. And then you'd turn around and the boss was in the doorway. And a bunch of guys I worked with, they used to go to the local comedy club and they would come in and they go, Foxworthy, you're funnier than these people. You need to do this. And I'm like, I don't know. Well, they entered me into a contest called the Great Southeastern Laugh-Off.
And you didn't know?
No, it wasn't. And it wasn't an amateur night. It was for working comedians.
Oh, wow.
And they entered me, and I'm like, oh, dadgum. So I went back and I wrote 5 minutes about my family. Nervous wreck. I won the contest. The first night I was ever on stage. Came off stage and met this girl who has been my wife for 37 years.
Oh, my goodness. What a night that was.
That was a good night. That was a good night. But the funny thing was, I knew a minute and a half into it, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I worked there for a few more months and did amateur nights, but I quit my job. And my mother's first question was, are you on the dope? I don't know what the dope is, but are you on the dope? And I said, no. I said, I think I can do this. I want to try it. 5 years later, I was on Johnny Carson. The same mother is saying, you know, you wasted all those years at IBM.
What's been the most rewarding thing for you?
Every night before I walk out, I remind myself the very last thing, everybody I'm going to be looking at is going through some kind of a struggle. I'm not naive enough to think laughter makes somebody's struggle go away, but I have learned through the years, laughter is like the release valve that keeps the boiler from exploding. And so now after a show, people come back and they go, I can't remember the last time I laughed like that.
Yeah.
Was there any really funny times or special presents you got, or?
You know what, Rodney, it's okay, this is the first time I really knew I could make people laugh and the power that went with it. So I was probably 9 and I got a tape recorder. And you know, where you mash the buttons down. And so the first thing that I recorded was I set an alarm clock, I had it go, I turned it off, and you can hear me walking, and I had filled up 2-gallon milk jugs with water. And so I walk and you can hear the door open and the door close, lift the toilet lid, and I'm recording the whole thing, and I start slowly pouring out one of the gallons. Well, it probably takes 3 minutes to empty this thing. And I just steadily did it, and you know, I got to the end and went, oink, oink, oink. Then I grabbed the second gallon, and so the whole thing probably went on 6-7 minutes. And so then I went and played it for everybody. And at first they were like, kind of, that's funny.
That's funny.
Minute 6, when it's still going on, I had aunts, uncles, grandparents,
floor.
just tears rolling down their face. And I realized, ooh, there's a power in making people laugh.
When did you realize that you'd kind of made it?
For a comedian, being on Johnny Carson was the top of Mount Everest. But back then, you did your 6 minutes, and if Johnny didn't like you, he would just clap. If he liked you, he would do that. And if he loved you, he would wave you over.
Did he wave you over?
You're scared to look because it's like Caesar. You know, it's like...
I know, and that's the big thing about it.
He waved me over.
That's huge.
He was literally like a kingmaker. 2 days later, I got a special. 3 or 4 days later, like Vegas, people wanted you to headline their casinos. And I'm going, I'm not any funnier now than I was last week. But it was because Johnny liked you enough to call you over. It totally changed your career.
You achieved your goal.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
you know, even to this day, if you come in my house, there's nothing to indicate that I'm a comedian. But I have a little picture on the bookshelf in the kitchen, and it's me sitting in the chair, and Johnny's got his mouth open laughing. And I'm like, that's all I ever wanted to do, make Johnny laugh.
We get to know Jeff even better later in the show. He shares more laughs and what Christmas means to him.
After the break, we're in North Carolina, where one woman's talent and faith adds glitter to the story of Christmas.
That is so important to us, our faith and our family and our freedom. So that's what I really circle and do my ornaments about.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal. This Christmas story is about some special ornaments that tell the real meaning of Christmas.
Many years ago, there was a mother who also happened to be an artist who was searching for ornaments of the nativity scene for her family's tree. She couldn't find any, so she decided to make some. Wait until you see what happens.
For Teresa Thibault, there are 3 guiding principles in life: faith, family, and freedom.
One year I just wanted to do a tree with the nativity and the story of Christmas for my children.
Oh, and one more, not taking no for an answer.
I went out, and the more I looked, the more I couldn't find anything. I went home and I told my husband, I said, I was crying in the middle of the store today. He said, why? I said, well, they told me there's no ornaments about Jesus. He said, well, Teresa, you can draw, make them yourself.
Teresa's husband Carol encouraged his wife to share these inspirational ornaments, all made in her kitchen table in Kannapolis, North Carolina, with the public.
Teresa finally took them to a small store in town where the owner agreed to display them on a tree. What happened next was right out of a Christmas fable.
The next day she called me, she goes, Teresa, they want to buy them. I'm like, no. So it all started from there.
That was 30 years ago.
Today, they make over 100,000 ornaments a year. Their customers include Saks Fifth Avenue and Dillard's, to Dollywood to NASA. Even the White House has ordered some. Teresa's favorite custom ornament is one commissioned by the White House for Congressional Medal of Honor recipients. One year, she and Carol were invited to the ceremony.
And the guys walked in wheelchairs and canes, and they said when they gave my ornaments to them, some of them cried. So I mean, to get to do something like that, as a matter of fact, it's on the back of my business card. I'm so proud of it. So this is my favorite custom.
It is beautiful.
Thank you.
Sadly, Carol passed away in 2015, but Teresa and her loyal team of 12 employee artists carry on.
Every single one of these handcrafted works of inspirational art are made right here in America. That's important to Teresa and to her retail partners.
These are some that we have left that I love so much, like Merry Christmas with the cross in it, Rejoice, she's the little angels dancing on the J, and love. I love love. Yeah, we love love. I always try to put in a nativity any way I can put it in there.
What is the most popular of all those?
Of all those in the nativity. That's why I have 2 left right now.
Now you have 0 left.
Christmas is so special. How blessed we are to have family and friends and live in this country. So,
exactly.
Christmas is a time we should reflect on that, I think.
The Heart Gifts Workshop looks like an old-fashioned quilting bee, but instead of stitching, Teresa's elves lovingly create beautiful ornaments all day long.
I think it's time for a little competition.
Ready to lose?
So the first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna put the cap.
Push it down.
Let it go.
Don't get a head start. You're practicing.
I'm not practicing.
Oh, I'm nervous.
I'm going to put the blue where the red goes. Like this.
Did he already do that?
Yeah.
Maybe he's fast and sloppy.
Have to really be careful.
Good job. Have you ever made an ornament before?
Never.
He had never decorated a Christmas cookie one year when I was like, what?
So now I'm ready to ice it.
Yeah, now you're going to ice it with the white glitter.
Jen, she's still doing the green.
Yes.
Teresa would go out of business if I were decorating for her.
Those are my initials, and then small town big deal. Let me see yours.
Hey, Teresa.
Even though she has an international clientele now, Teresa still sets up a craft booth at a special place for 6 weeks every fall.
It's just a beautiful place. I've been doing it for 29 years, so it just touches my heart to come back here.
And you've met Dolly.
I have. I got to make her 25th anniversary ornament. So then she wanted to meet me, and so I got to meet her. And she was pure Dolly.
Back at home, Teresa has a special Christmas outing she goes on every year with her grandchildren.
And we were thrilled to be included on this night.
So I understand you guys have a really cool Christmas time tradition.
We go house to house that has a nativity, and we give them an ornament from Heart Gifts.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's also really fun to see how we can brighten someone's day.
We would love to go with you and see you guys do this and then start that tradition with our families. Yeah? You guys are game? Yeah?
And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
After driving for a few minutes and being serenaded all the way, the first nativity scene of the night was spotted, and out they went.
Ooh, it's such a pretty house. Okay, you girls ready? Let's do this.
Hello.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
More houses would follow.
We're doing this thing for Christmas. Whoever has a nativity out, we give an ornament to that was hand-painted by our grandma.
More Christmas carols would be sung.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
And more ornaments would find their way into their new forever homes.
Merry Christmas!
Teresa and her family are not only making great memories, but they're encouraging us all to remember the real meaning of Christmas.
Just ahead, we continue our conversation with comedian Jeff Foxworthy. He shares his personal reflections as only he can.
It is the season when people are not nestled in their warm homes, but instead are circling mall parking lots, screaming things like, "Don't even think about it, fat boy," to other drivers.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal.
Get ready for some more Foxworthy smiles, but also he shares a little bit of Christmas wisdom for us all.
Jeff, tell us why Christmas is special to you.
To me, I don't ever want to get sucked up in the earthly Christmas, that you forget the real reason.
Because it's real easy to do.
It is real easy to do. I was in a Bible study with a bunch of guys for like 18 years, and we'd host the Christmas party. So every year I would write like a story about Christmas. You want to hear one?
Yes, I want to hear one.
So this is from many years back, but when I knew I was going to come down here, I pulled one out, and I kind of like this one. It is the season that many retailers count on to make up for more than half of their annual budget. The season when people are not nestled in their warm homes enjoying friends and loved ones, but instead are circling mall parking lots, screaming things like, "Don't even think about it, fat boy," to other drivers. This just so they can leave their car and go into the holiday delight, which is the mall at Christmas time. So they can stretch their credit card limits to find something for Wally in accounting, Wally who you rarely speak to the rest of the year. Christmas has and apparently always will be about gifts. The part I struggle with is that it has mutated into being about the giver, when instead the very reason for the season is in being the receiver. Now, the dictionary defines gift as a token of affection. I have lived around women long enough to know that even though the dictionary does not spell it out, that your wife won't consider just anything as fitting that bill. A new bathroom scale could be considered a gift, but the amount of affection you'll receive in return is most often viewed in monasteries. Guys know that if affection is desired, that few things work as well as jewelry. And of all jewels, diamonds are supposed to be the best. The commercials tell us that diamonds take her breath away. That's true, but after a few minutes, it comes back and they start talking again. Then I wrote, I don't care who you are, that's funny right there now. A little tip of the hat to Larry the Cable Guy. The best gifts I have ever given or received were the ones that were not expected. Our human spirits love a good surprise. And that must have been how those shepherds felt out in that lonely and dark field outside of Bethlehem. What a surprise to have angels appear boldly proclaiming, "Unto you a Savior is born." It's hard to fathom what they must have felt in that moment. I do know that they were excited enough to leave their sheep and to go into town where they found what was promised, and they were convinced enough that they fell to their knees to acknowledge the holiness in the presence of which they stood. And that really is what the season is about, a gift unlike anything the world has ever seen. We often respond to extravagance with, "Oh, you shouldn't have." Well, truer words have never been spoken than about the gift of the baby Jesus. This infant whose purpose was to sacrifice his perfect life for you and me. This was the perfect gift, for it was a gift of life. But just as importantly, this gift of life was for the now. He is a peace about the future. He is my place to turn to when I am afraid. He has caused my eyes to be open to see people that I used to look past. Once confrontational, I now find myself more and more of a peacemaker. And when the season stresses you to the point that your children leave the room when you enter it, take a deep breath and glance over at the nativity scene. And as Mary did, ponder in your heart the gift wrapped not in colorful paper, but in swaddling clothes. And now know that because of him alone, it will be all right. Today, tomorrow, and forever.
Oh, that's good.
That's beautiful, Jeff. It so relates to us.
Well, we're all idiots, you know? It's funny, when I ask God to like show me something, this is the way I ask. I'll say, "God, now, you know I'm an idiot. So you're gonna have to make this so abundantly clear that even I can't miss this." As human beings, we all wanna be worth something.
Yeah.
On the cross, Jesus said, "You're not worth something, you're worth everything. If you were the only person alive, I would do this, just for you."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, secretly, that's what we all want. My dad left early. And when you grow up with somebody leaving you, you feel like you weren't worth staying for. There was a time in my life I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna make God my dad, because he's always here. He knows everything about me and he still loves me. I can't act in a way that's too good to make him love me more, and I can't act in a way that's too bad to make him love me less. He just loves me. And that's what Christmas is. It's the greatest love story ever told.
Yeah.
What a beautiful gift at Christmas that we all received so long ago that lives with us every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
We hope you've enjoyed this Christmas episode of Small Town Big Deal. These happy stories truly are some of my favorites.
Mine too. With Jeff Foxworthy, happy, well, that's a given.
For sure.
And Teresa and her Heart Gifts ornaments bring smiles to the faces of young and old.
I'm Rodney Miller.
And I'm Jan Carl.
Join us again next week when once again we celebrate the great stories from across America. So, Jeff, thank you so much.
Merry Christmas!
I think you came in just a little early.
Was I early? Okay, all right.
We want to wish our audience a
Merry Christmas.
I thought you were going to say very Merry Christmas.
Sorry.
Did we get a prompter?
From Jan and I know from you, Jeff, we want to wish our audience a
Merry Christmas.